If this was House of Pain, we would all be jumping around right now. But what's better than that is being live on In My Own Words, Touchdown Alabama magazine from the break. Very cool topic we got into in the second stanza of the show. I didn't think the rule would change. I did not think the graduate transfer rule would change, but Nick Saban, the master persuader of college football, all he says, I'm not down for the rule change. I don't like the rule change, but if you guys, as the lawmaking body of the Southeastern Conference, you guys that have the straw that stirred the drink, if you think that changing this rule will enhance our league, improve our league, make our league better, well, guess what? I will lay my chips to the side. I will play hardball. I'm down. Lo and behold, Friday, Commissioner Greg Sankey, rest of the lawmaking bodies, that is the SEC, changed the graduate transfer rule. And not only can a graduate transfer go from one SEC school to another, but they don't have to sit out a year now. They can immediately play. This is about to become the Wild West of college football. Nick Saban, Alabama, ready for it. But moving from that to some comments Kirby Smart made at Destin, Florida over the weekend for the SEC coaches spring meetings. Kirby Smart of Georgia was thrown the question of, Coach Smart, you've been around Nick Saban. You've sat at the feet of the man. You learned the process. You were a part of some big things at the University of Alabama under Nick Saban. You're kind of Nick Saban-esque. You're kind of, his son in a way. Do you think, how long do you think he'll remain on top? How long do you think Nick Saban will continue to coach? How long do you think he will be the king of the block of the Southeastern Conference? And Kirby's answer, I think Nick Saban will coach forever. And going back to the Kermit the Frog meme I mentioned in the second segment, the one where you've got the inner frog telling you, don't say that, don't say that, don't do that, don't do that, don't say that. I bet you won't say it, don't say that. And then, Kirby says that. Inner frog is probably yelling expletives right now because every other coach in college football, especially in the SEC, is just waiting on Nick Saban's retirement. They know as long as this man continues to stay at Alabama, it's going to be hard for me. I have to work extra hard to win championships because Nick Saban's here. I have to work extra hard to find different ways to bring recruits to my program because, all Nick Saban has to do is flash those rings. Those kids are coming. All Nick Saban has to do is tell a kid, you want to go to the NFL, them kids coming. I have to work 5 times as hard to get a kid to come to my program. If the man would just go ahead on and retire, the playing field would be more level, the race to the top would be more accessible. But Kirby Smart saying, Nick Saban may coach forever. He could very well go another 10 to 15 years doing that whole Bill Snyder Kansas State thing. When you look at it, Nick Saban, perfect health, 66 years old, will turn 67 October of this year, stays in shape, works out, plays pickup basketball, does some golfing. You got to give Miss Terry credit. She's keeping him on that great eating regimen, stays healthy. Surrounds himself with 18 to 22-year-old kids every year. That's got to keep you young. Then on top of that, the coaching staff coming into this year, very young coaching staff. Nick Saban, to me, is probably the only coach I know that will win a national championship, right? Let go of every coach on that staff, bring in a whole new coaching staff, fiery, hungry, ready to hit the ground running, strong recruiters. Coach, what you want me to do, I'm down to ride. And with those coaches, you look at this 2019 class, according to 247 Sports, top-rated class in the nation right now. And if Alabama continues this in a class in which it can sign 27 people, Alabama can look at getting the #1 offensive line and the #1 defensive line class in the nation. Think about that for a minute. Jail on that for just a moment there. Just looking at some of the ages of the coaches Nick Saban's brought in, the oldest coach on the staff looks like it's Dan Enos, who will be 50 in July, next month. 50, still relatively young. Dan Enos still trying to prove there's a lot of juice left in that orange he's working with. And then you got Craig Kuligowski, defensive line coach, he's 49. And then you got Michael Locksley, offensive coordinator, he's 48. And then here come the young bloods. Tosh Lapoy, defensive coordinator, 36. Pete Golding, co-defensive coordinator, inside linebackers coach, 34. Carl Scott, defensive backs coach, 33. Josh Gaddis, co-offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach, 34. Jeff Banks, special teams coach, tight ends coach, 41. Young, passionate, and these guys are finally starting to get paid like they're supposed to get paid. I mean, these guys are getting paid at their other jobs. Pete Golding was getting paid at University of Texas San Antonio. Carl Scott was getting paid at Texas Tech. Josh Gaddis was getting paid at Penn State. Craig Kuligowski was getting paid at Miami. Dan Enos was getting paid at Arkansas. But these guys were not getting paid the way the money's going to start hitting them at Alabama. Now, of course, Enos and Jeff Banks, they're still collecting a check from their other programs, but once that runs out, their money at Alabama is about to double, triple even. So these guys are about to get the real money. Nick Saban is Indeed.com. I mean, the moment you tell somebody I coached under Nick Saban, that resume, bing, goes right up there. Now, the difference is, and what's a good thing for Alabama fans, a lot of these guys haven't coached cohesively together. So, these guys will be at Alabama for a minute. Got to get that coaching down together before that next program decides to throw that opportunity at you. But Nick Saban, perfect health. Nick Saban, surrounding himself with youth. He continues to redefine, to reinvent what youth actually is. I mean, we all read in our history books in the 5th grade that Ponce de Leon found the fountain of youth in Florida. That's a lie. Kids, hear me out though. Children, hear me out. Read your history books, go to class, take those notes, hear me out. I'm just venting. No, I read those books and told me Ponce de Leon found the fountain of youth in Florida. I think that thing is somewhere in Tuscaloosa. I think Nick Saban's found it because he continues to put his own stamp on what, youth really is. The only two ways I see Nick Saban slowing this thing down is if his health takes a turn, an unexpected turn for the worse, or if his coaching acumen starts to break down, starts to die down, starts to diminish. I don't see neither of those two happening anytime soon, but if one of those two was to happen, that's when you'll see, Nick Saban slow this thing down, turn this thing in, and either appoint somebody that he's been friends with for a long time, maybe somebody outside the program to take over, or he's possibly groomed somebody up inside the program that has sat at his feet, that the coaching staff respects, that the players respect, and Coach Saban's going to love the heck out of the guy. So either or, Nick Saban will have that card played out. But right now, strong health, he's got youth around him. Kirby Smart said, could coach for a long time, and all the inner frogs of these other coaches ticked off right now. But that leads us, final break, in my own words. When we come back, 5 coaches that will be under the most pressure next season. You don't want to miss this, folks. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.